Hi guys, I'm Jamie of LondonBLUE Studios. Thanks for joining me here on Kingdom Keys. So today we're going to be talking about Epcot, which I'm really excited about. Epcot was the second of the 4 current theme parks at the Walt Disney World Resort. It was opened in 1982 and it opened as Epcot Center. After a few years, they dropped Center, so now it is officially Epcot. I heard a few years ago that they were going to officially re-add Center to the title, but I haven't seen that happen, so it's still Epcot. It stands for Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. Pretty interesting, right? Well, what's more interesting is that Walt Disney actually purchased all of the land in Central Florida for this project. The whole 42 square mile piece of land out there was supposed to encompass this thing called Epcot, or the Florida Project, it's also known as. Now, his idea was that he was going to build a place for people to live, work, and play. So it wasn't really going to be a theme park. It was going to be an actual city where people lived. Now, the difference between this city and every other is that it would use the technologies, the advanced technologies from companies around the world. Walt had an idea that he wanted the city to be an example to other cities, and show how we could function and how we could progress with access to these technologies on a daily basis. Very cool idea, very cool. Obviously, that did not come to light. Walt did pass before he was able to implement his idea, but in honoring his concept, the Walt Disney Company did decide to go ahead and open a theme park and call it Epcot. And what is there is a bit different from Walt's original idea, but it does pay homage to him, so it's pretty cool. So here's the deal with Epcot. Epcot actually has 2 different worlds in it. It's a bit different than the other parks in that way. It's broken up a little bit simpler than most of the other parks. Basically, when you enter Epcot, you're entering Future World. You're greeted by this big golf ball looking thing, and it does drive me absolutely crazy when people call it a big golf ball looking thing. It's called Spaceship Earth. It's a globe. It's like the Earth, but like a spaceship. Isn't that cool? So anyway, basically inside this thing, there's a ride. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but there's a ride in there. It is kind of like, it runs kind of like the Haunted Mansion. Like, it's got a bunch of cars that are attached to each other and it's just on a track like that. But the story in the ride is basically it's the history of communications. I love how Disney is able to disguise education as fun. It's pretty cool. Beyond that point, after you pass Spaceship Earth, or the big golf ball looking thing, stop calling it that, to either side of you, you have Innoventions buildings. I have gone through those. For me, I'm not hugely entertained. I mean, you can get out of the sun, but they're just kind of, they've got little stations where you can learn about, new technologies and stuff, but it's more based, and I haven't been in there in a while, so I'll give you that, but to me, it felt like more like it was geared toward kids. So I wasn't hugely entertained, which is a surprise because I'm just a big kid. No, but yeah, they're activities more for kids. I think. I mean, some of the stuff is kind of neat, or was the last time I was in there, but I wasn't really entertained enough to stick around, so I kind of walked right through there. So after you pass the Innoventions buildings, you've got a couple of things. well, first of all, actually on your right there, like you basically you're walking, there's a huge fountain situation right there. Past that on your right is going to be, there's a character meet area. On your left, on your left is probably my favorite store on Disney property, except for the cast member store because I've been there because I used to be a cast member. But other than that, I would say Mouse Gear is my favorite store on Disney property. They always have a huge variety of things. They always have things there that I can't find anywhere else. I love that store. So there's that. Now, if you're standing there by the fountain and you go to your right, through Innoventions and past the character meet area, then you're actually going to get into the part of Epcot where you've got the seas, and that's really cool because they have a massive aquarium. They have all kinds of stuff to look at in there, but best of all, they have the Seas with Nemo and Friends, which is a really, really fun ride. Go on it. I'm not going to tell you lots about it, but go on it. It's really cute. After that, they have the land. That's also got a couple fun rides. One is Soarin'. That is a wonderful ride. I love it. If you have not done it, do it. It simulates hang gliding, and basically you lock into a seat and you're brought up into the air, and there's a massive screen in front of you, and there's a projection on it, and it's just really cool. It simulates hang gliding. It's just awesome. It's really cool. Do it. Do it, because I said so. Also in the land, there's a little boat ride that I really love that some people probably would not appreciate. I always call it the hydroponics ride. It is called Living with the Land. Officially, that's what it's called. But basically you do this boat ride, and you get to see how they hydroponically grow all of this food. But I just think it's really interesting. After you exit the land area, or pavilion, it's kind of a pavilion, then you can go to Imagination, which is really cool. Well, okay, is it really cool? I don't know. I like it. It has the Journey into Imagination with Figment ride in it, and it is a silly ride that had to have been done in the 80s. But I like it. So there. No, it's a cute little ride. It's a kid's ride. It's fun. It's silly. There's a song all the way through. So, I think it's cute. Whatever. Don't judge me. Whatever. That's pretty much it for that side of it. So if you exit that side and kind of go back out toward the fountain, and go what would have been your left side as you came in instead of the right, because we went to the right before. So you go to the left, and walk past Innoventions and the store that I love, Mouse Gear. Basically, if you walk right through there, the first thing that you're going to see is Mission Space, which is the G-Force ride. I don't go on it because I get motion sick. So I have never been on it. I almost went on it at one point, pretty much right after it opened, and there were just, normally on rides, there's like, for the Disney rides, there will be like 1 or 2 warning signs as you walk in. This one, there was a sign like a good 20 feet outside of, the building, and then right there at the ramp where you walk up, and then there was another one on the back of the door, and then there was another one right as you walk into it. And I was like, this is way too many warnings. I'm gonna take this seriously. This is gonna make me sick. I'm not gonna do this. So I kind of bailed on it. But if you don't get motion sick, I don't know, give it a shot. See if you like it. If you're looking at Mission Space and you look to your left, there's a ride back there. It's kind of neat. Universe of Energy is actually a ride featuring Ellen DeGeneres and Bill Nye, the science guy. It's really cute. It looks a bit old. It looks like maybe it was done in the 90s, but I think it's really fun. Basically, you get into this big car thing, and it's kind of like, it feels like a theater. And then, like 10 minutes into the movie, the car actually starts driving around. And you get to see dinosaurs and animatronic dinosaurs and things like that. That part of it is so cool. Now, what I will tell you about the Universe of Energy ride is that you do not get to eat on this ride. You do not get to drink on this ride, and you do not get to exit the ride. Now, the reason this is important, and the reason I'm emphasizing it for you, is that this is a 40-minute ride. 40 minutes. So make sure you go, everybody in your party goes to the bathroom beforehand. Make sure you grab a snack beforehand if you need to. But it is a time commitment. I think it's a cute ride. It does take a chunk out of the day. But what I really like about it is that, one, again, it's educational, and it is a good way to get out of the heat as well. So now if we're looking at Mission Space again, and we look to our right instead of our left, Test Track is there. Test Track is a really fun ride. It used to be a test dummy ride. You kind of got into these cars and you were put through all of these crash test dummy tests. I thought that was really fun. They've updated it since, and now it feels a bit more like Tron, which sounds super cool and kind of is, but there were a few moments in the ride that used to feel really intense because you thought things might really happen. A car accident here, a car accident there, and now because it's more, it has more of a lights and digital kind of a look to it, it doesn't feel as much like a thrill ride. It's not really that scary anymore. So that's kind of the sad part about it. But actually the queue is really cool now. You get to design your own car. And it's like you get to do it on this screen, on this, touch screen. So you get to choose all of these options while you're waiting. And then when you get to the end of the ride, it'll tell you how your car performed and how it performed compared to the other vehicles that had been designed by other people. So that's pretty neat. I thought that was really cool. So now, if we go back to the fountain, that's pretty much it for Future World. Now, here is a tip I will give you about Future World. This is very, very, very important. Future World, everything I just explained to you is part of Future World. Future World closes early. Every day it closes early. Now, basically all of the rides are in Future World. There is a ride at Mexico, at the Mexico Pavilion, and there's a ride at the Norway Pavilion. But other than that, all of the rides are in Future World. Now, the reason this is important for you to know is if you decide, oh, well, there's a really long line for Soarin', I know the trick, I know to go back to the more popular rides while the fireworks show is going on, it's gonna be closed because it's part of Future World. Future World typically closes a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours before Epcot as a whole closes. World Showcase stays open later. Actually, World Showcase opens later as well. That's another thing to consider. So make sure you look at your times guide when you're going to Epcot. It's the only park that does that. It's kind of funky. I don't know the reasoning behind it, but it is what it is. So just make sure to take a peek at your times guide to make sure that you're going to be able to do all the rides that you want to do throughout the day. If you guys have any comments or questions, as always, leave those below. Make sure to do next week's viewer vote. The link is in the description below. And you guys, man, have a magical day. We'll see you real soon. Ooh, I'm gonna give you a little tip. I've got a map in front of me. information.